Justin Great is it's not just a name. I mean, it's not just my name. Rather, it's about promoting the greatness inside of people. I think ultimately everybody wants to be great. Everybody wants to succeed and do their best. The tagline is "Good is the enemy of great," because I believe it really is. I mean, being average and being just okay, being good, is not acceptable. I think that when you're trying to be the best, you want to be great. You want to be labeled as, the best and the greatest at your craft and what you're doing. And so we're trying to promote that. So when you see great across the shirt, it's that daily reminder to people that, I want to be great. I want to do something awesome in the world today. And so that's, where greatness stems from. When I first started, the concept of plumage, I mean, people always ask me about that, and they always kind of mispronounce it and things like that. But plumage, essentially, is a bird's feathers, right? And so when I concepted this, I was thinking, I kind of likened the human to the bird, in the sense that birds, essentially, when they have their feathers and it's bright and colorful, particularly the males. They do it to show off to the female, essentially, so that way they can mate and be picked. And so I was thinking about that, and I said, humans kind of do a very similar thing. Whether you're trying to talk to that young lady, whether you're trying to get the attention of that young man, or whether you're just in the office, you want to look good, whether you're out on town, you just want to have a fresh, nice attire. It's like, we do that. We want to look good. We want to look our best at all times. And so I said, what? It's just like birds. Essentially, our clothes that we wear are just like a bird's feathers, essentially. And so that's where, the term plumage came from. The peacock being the logo there, because, that's kind of the poster child for plumage, essentially, like in bird culture. People say that you're peacocking, essentially, when you're strutting and you're going on and you're showing off, essentially, you're peacocking. And that's kind of where the vibe came from for plumage. And so, there are two different lines, plumage being the more vibrant, colorful, and flashy appeal of the collection, and the Justin Great piece is my namesake, being a little bit more monochromatic, being a little bit more toned and minimalist vibe. And so that's essentially where the two brands kind of collide, and where they kind of came to be, because I wanted to make that strict distinction, especially in this first collection that I'm doing here. I wanted to make sure that those two were kind of separate from each other. With like the season 1 collection, I wanted to really bring some unique and different elements to the collection. I thought that there was a couple things that I could pull from some things that other people were doing that I really liked and enjoyed, and then there were some new things that I feel like I could kind of add. So in my collection, I have a lot of the deconstructed pieces where essentially we're taking the fabrics and kind of a finished fabric, and then you undo it. That's what deconstruction is, essentially. You hear the term a lot in food and things like that. And so I might take a t-shirt that might be finished, but we undo the hem on the arm or on the neckline, different things like that, to kind of give it that deconstructed feel, to give it that rough, rugged edge to it, and kind of just undo those things. And so that's kind of what you get with the deconstructed, or we're either distressing it or cutting some of the elements, or doing things like that, just to kind of play with the fabrics and do something different than the traditional t-shirt. I wanted to do something different when it came to denim and things. Obviously, we're distressing and doing that kind of stuff, but I wanted to really hop in and become immersed. I'm tailoring all of these pieces. I'm getting it to that particular customization, really. So I'm actually in here tailoring this stuff and making sure that it has that particular fit that I want it to have. I want it to have a particular aesthetic. I think that that's very important, that when people are wearing your stuff, that it has that look that you really envisioned for it to be, mixed in with their personal style. And so, you know, I have something called the auto taper, and that's something that's, you know, I'm really proud of, and you know, kind of just came to my mind. I'm like, you know, people love, you know, now in this style vein, people like for, you know, their jean to have that tapered look at the bottom. You see the joggers, you see, you know, skinny jeans and different things like that becoming of style now. And you know, I'm doing the joggers, I'm doing the denim and things like that, and I'm tapering all that myself. But I'm like, well, what if somebody wanted to take it an extra step further? What if they wanted it brought in a little bit more? Or what if they wanted it a little bit more even loose at that ankle portion? You know, what can we do to kind of, you know, increase that ability, the user ability, essentially? And so I created the auto taper, which is, you know, essentially a strap piece of a sewed-on piece of Velcro that's attached to the ankle portion of the denim. And so that way you can actually adjust where your comfort level is for that particular taper at the bottom. I thought that was very unique, very important. I know I've gotten different influences all the way back from like the jabots and things like that. When people were wearing those, they had the straps on there. I mean, it was huge. The pants were like huge, you know what I mean? So it definitely doesn't fit into the vein of like what my personal style is, or what, you know, I think the trend where it's going now. And not even trend, I think it's something that, you know, is gonna kind of level itself as a staple at this point, you know what I mean? We modernize certain trends as time goes. Of course things come back and forth all the time, but I think we kind of can modernize those things and make it what we want it to be now. And so with the jabots, they had them like that. They had the straps on there, and they did that, they Velcroed. But you know, what I'm doing is taking something that's existing now, that people are loving to do, as far as that taper, getting that unique taper, but giving the user, giving the purchaser, giving that customer a little bit more control there. And so not only control, but also gives you some style elements as well. I mean, you see that a lot of times even in sneakers. They got the Velcro going on there. So I just wanted to add that piece there, you know, along with whatever else we're doing. We're distressing, we're adding the zippers, we're doing, you know, different things like that. So I wanted to add those pieces in.